Hello and welcome to Liza Cooks. It's another week again and I wanted to do something else. I wanted to do either cookie says or cookie chit chat or post a recipe, but I have one more letter to address before we move on to any other segment. And if I don't address this letter, the person who wrote it to me is literally going to strangle me. So I need to address this letter. Before we get into it, I want to give a 1 minute silence to my grandmother who just passed on and is being buried today. So I just want to pay my last respect to my grandmother before we continue with anything. Yeah. Okay. Thank you all. Dear Liz, I'm a girl who's 16 years of age. I completed my A-levels last year in November. I learned French to keep myself busy while I also waited for my results. My results were out in January this year. I didn't do too good and I felt I could have done better. But I also didn't think I would find it difficult to get a university to pick me. As I write to you, I've still not heard from any school. There was this private medical school that gave me admission, but that school was also very expensive. So my dad told me he couldn't afford it. This made me really sad. I mean, I was not getting a school, and the school I got was also expensive. I cried myself to sleep for some days. I finally decided to go and rewrite my A-levels to improve my grades. Unfortunately, I also have to go back to a place I thought I was done with. I felt I've wasted my time and all, but I really want to get into medical school, so I'm going to work for it. Whenever I cried about this to my mom, she would ask, "Why are you crying?" I wouldn't know what to tell her. I'll just cry more. I feel she wouldn't understand anything I say since she hasn't experienced it. That is why I'm writing this to you. I want you to know that I look up to you a lot and you inspire me with all your videos and your blogs. Don't stop doing them. Thank you for your time. Okay. So, today the letter has a lot of things I need to, address. So bear with me and let's try and address this. I pray God helps me to say what I have to say. Yes. So the first thing I'm going to talk about today is where this beautiful young lady talks about how she wishes she could have done better. And the reason I'm highlighting on this is because as individuals, as human beings, we go about our day-to-day activities and sometimes we encounter issues, we encounter problems, and the way we go about it is not really how we initially thought we'll go about it. Or even if we went about it as how we initially thought, it gets to a point where we wish we could have done it in a better way, in a different way. But there are two ways to this. It's either you wish you could have done it in a better way, so you get up and you try to work on it, or you wallow in pity. So yes, you've gone to write an exam, you thought you get all the 90s and then you don't get that, and so you come and sit down and you wish you could have done better. But the only thing I'm going to tell you is, instead of you sitting and wallowing in pity, get out there and try and make it. Get out there and let all those wishes you have come to pass. So yes, you wish you could have done better. You get up, you know that, look, this is what I wanted to get, so I'm not gonna stop at anything until I get it, and then you go for it. That's the first thing I just wanted to highlight. Second thing I want to talk about is about your dad. Yes, and I personally feel like you took the best decision in actually going to rewrite. The reason why I say this is because, again, there are two ways. You could easily choose the expensive school and start going for your first year and second year, and you realize that you can't pay anymore and you literally need to drop out. Or you can just do what he wants for him by going to rewrite, getting a school that is affordable for him to pay, and you going through all the 6 years without having to, stop in between. That is why I'm saying I'm proud of you for going with the decision he wanted, because he's going to be paying 6 to 7 years. I always say it's an investment they are making. 6 to 7 years is not chicken change. It's not like something that is just down there. He's paying for accommodation, for feeding, for transportation, if you're going to be going from home and all of that. So yes, I am proud of you for making that decision at the age of 16. Sometimes we get strong-willed towards our parents. So I'm really proud of you for making that decision. And I know it's the best decision you've actually made, because he's the one going to pay. If you were financially stable, then you can go ahead with any decision you want. But as far as daddy is paying, sorry to say, you need to go with his rules. The other thing about you crying, that's where my story comes in. I struggled in making this video because it's more or less like my story, and most of the time I try to avoid speaking about what I've been through, but Yes, I also failed when I was writing A levels. I failed 2 to 3 times, especially math. Actually, math was the one that kept me going in like a merry like go round. So yes, I failed math 2 to 3 times, and yes, tears became my food. I was depressed for a long time and all of that. So yes, you would cry, but I'm gonna be very honest with you. Crying helps. It helps you bring out all the pain, the way you feel that your parents don't understand, the way you feel that your friends don't understand. Crying seems to be like your only thing that you find solace in. But from my experience, crying did not solve any of my problems. I wish the amount of months I stayed in the room to cry, I rather used it to prepare to go and rewrite. So that's what I'm gonna tell you. And I am telling you the truth because I've been through it. So yes, don't cry. Yes, sometimes you feel that is the only option, but I'll probably say don't cry too much. Instead of crying, get out there, get a journal. I'm going to advise this. Get a journal. Instead of crying, write all the things you really want to achieve and aim for it. Pick them one at a time and go for them. That's what I'm going to do. So you want to get that into that medical school, write it down. Instead of crying, channel all that tears, the pain, into you studying to go and write the paper. And that is the best answer I can give you concerning the tears. About your mom and your dad, sometimes they do understand, but in a different way. For instance, I kept on failing and my dad had to keep on paying. So what I'm gonna tell you is, you are depressed and daddy is also depressed in his pocket, and that is the truth, because he's going to pay but he's not going to complain to you. But each time you fail, each time you have to go and rewrite, daddy has to pay some money. So they might not tell you like upfront that they really understand what you're going through. And let me tell you the truth, I've been through this 2 to 3 times. Sometimes they look like, people look at you like, you wrote the exams, why are you even crying? You went to write the paper, so why are you crying? People will throw sorry to say things to you, if I should put it like trash. People will say things to you that will hurt you, but they say it not thinking it will hurt you, but it will hurt you because you are the one going through it. So I want you to be very strong. Yeah, you need to be very strong, and that's where prayer comes in. You need to be very, very strong, because whatever you're going through, no one understands but you, because you had your expectations. You went to write that paper, you thought you were getting into uni, and about you going to the same places you thought you were never going to go to. Girl, that is me, yo. That is really me. I thought I was not going back to those places again, and I had to go back 2 to 3 times. It was hard. It was not easy. I will talk about my story some other time, but I got to a point where the woman, the invigilator at British Council, literally knew me because I had been there 2 to 3 times. I was even rushed to the hospital during one of my papers. So I'm sitting here today and I'm telling you, you can make it. And the reason why I'm boldly telling you that is, if I've been able to get to this place, like get into uni and everything, then you can do it. No shade, nothing. You can do it. Believe in yourself. Know that, look, if I have gone through this one, it doesn't mean I'm going to go through it again. And one thing, failure is not a tattoo. It's not written on your forehead that you failed. So whatever it is that you're going through, don't feel like you have wasted your time. If I had wasted my time, then I would not be sitting here today. I would have quit a long time ago. But then I would probably say, yes, I've wasted my time. But I'm telling you from experience that you've not wasted your time. I could have literally just ignored your letter because I don't know what you're going through. I can come and stay here and pretend as if I know what you're going through. But I'm addressing this letter because I know what you're going through. I've been through it twice, 3 times I've been through it. And I'm telling you today that you've not wasted your time. You need to go through all these tests to get a testimony. Whatever I've been through, it's just something that has molded me to be who I am today. So yes, you are going through this, but you're not going to go through it forever. You're going to come out of it. I always say it's just a phase. You'll come out of it. So yes, the only thing, go out there. Go and rewrite this paper. And I'm saying this to everybody who feels like they are not good enough because of an examination. I'm always going to say this. Don't let the educational system define who you are. For years, it defined me. I felt dumb because I kept on failing. I felt dumb because I felt not good enough, because, I mean, why would I sit in the same class with people and they do well and I don't do well? But at the end of the day, whatever I've been through should not define me. Yeah, it should make me a better person. And that's why I'm sitting here today and I'm making this video and I'm telling you, you are going to get into that medical school. You know what you really want, so keep pushing. You want to become that surgeon, that pharmacist, keep pushing. Don't let anybody stop you. Mommy might not understand, daddy might not understand, but you know yourself. When it comes to education, people just talk about pass, just get, but they don't understand what you go through internally, especially if that is what, like, literally you put your all in. Some of us put our all in school because that is the only thing we feel we have as of now. So yes, and one thing I had to learn is to combine education and God. And I always say prayer plus determination is equal to success. So you can't just learn and not pray, because he is the person who gives wisdom. He said in James 1:5 that if you lack wisdom, you should come to him and he will give it to you. So everything is a combination. What will set you apart from your friends who are sitting in that big examination hall is the fact that you pray. So everyone is just moving, everyone is just learning, but you have learned and you are praying. So it's a combination of the two. That is what I'm going to leave with you today. I am so happy you wrote this letter to me, because I feel like a lot of people would learn from this letter. I've heard of incidents in Aquinas and other schools where people have committed suicide because they couldn't get into medical school and stuff. For the last time, I'm gonna repeat it. Failure is not a tattoo. And don't let an educational system define who you are. So go out there. I can't wait for 6 to 7 years when you graduate to come and share your testimony. And trust me, you're going to sit in that hospital one day and a little girl is going to walk up to you and go like, I want to be like you. You tell that girl, you can, you know. And then she'll ask you more questions and you tell her, I failed, or I didn't do, I couldn't get into medical school the first time I tried. But look at me, I'm here today, so you can do it. And that's why I'm sitting here today. Yes, I've not graduated, but I'm sitting here today and I'm telling you, you can get into medical school. Just work so hard, believe in yourself and pray. And I know God is going to get you there. Thank you so much for writing to me. Like, I'm so humbled. I really appreciate it. So thank you so much for writing to me. A happy belated birthday to my mom and my nephew. They celebrated their birthday this week. I know it's so difficult to be away, and I'm going to say it all the time, but I just want to wish them a happy belated birthday. Thank you so much for being there for me, mommy, and I really love you and I appreciate you so much. The last thing is the pace setter bracelets are still on sale, and I really need everyone to go and get them, because honestly we are really raising funds for this project next year. So please try and get your bracelets as soon as possible. I'll put a link down there. All you have to do, or an email, all you have to do is email and order for yours. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you're blessed. Feel free as always to subscribe, to comment, to like, and to share. Thank you. Bye for now.